All right, how's it going, YouTube? This is my steering intermediate shaft out of my 2004 Toyota Tacoma, and I removed this out of the truck because I had suspected that this was causing my steering wheel to wobble back and forth. There was some play in it, and this was the suspected cause of why the play was present. How I diagnosed this to be the issue was so this is the piece that goes into the end of your steering shaft that comes out of that's connected to your steering wheel. So your steering wheel will, turn this here, and then this part will go down into your steering rack and connect to that. So, when you turn when you're turning your steering wheel just like that, your steering rack is also moving as well, turning your wheels. So so this video will apply to Tacomas from 1995 to 2004, the first generation, as well as a third generation Toyota 4Runners, and I also believe the first generation Toyota Tundra. They all kind of have the same design, intermediate shaft. So the first thing I did was after I took this out of the vehicle, I tried to see what U-joint was bad, and this was a very interesting design on this steering intermediate shaft. The next generation Toyota Tacoma, I think second gens and above, you'll see that instead of having this flanged part here in the center, they'll just have the U-joint just like a drive shaft, just like that, and it'll turn this way. But this one has a very kind of interesting design where the inside of where this flange is sandwiched in between that it's a plastic plate, and you can see here that there's a ball, kind of a ball point that comes out of this piece here, and it connects to the plastic piece, same as the other side. So as you can probably see that the whole plastic part inside is rotating. So these are kind of connected to each other through that plastic plate that's moving inside. Kind of a pretty interesting design here. So it's kind of able to move around just like that with that plastic plate kind of rotating. You can see it rotating like that. So when I first took this off, I wasn't able to find any play with the steering shaft. It's kind of difficult to find the play in here, probably due to the design of the plastic plate, but I was able to eventually kind of feel for the play, and it's there. So let me show you where I'm seeing some of that play. It's kind of hard to see. You can see it just right there. It's moving back and forth on this topmost joint. Might be able to see just a little bit of, I can definitely feel it. Kind of moving back and forth. I can feel that play just like that. Same thing with the bottom end as well. Yeah, I can definitely feel it just like that when I'm moving it back and forth. And this was causing my steering wheel to kind of move a couple degrees this way. Just a little bit of play here can make a substantial difference in your steering wheel, play up there, because the circumference of the steering wheel is greater than the circumference of the shaft here. So it will feel like the steering wheel has a lot of play, even if this has a small amount of play. Because of that circumference difference, the degrees turning on all the parts is the same. It's just, there you go. See that? Just and so these are the U-joints that are inside of the joints here. It's basically this piece. Here. that goes inside, and eventually these wear out and go bad, which cause the play to happen. The play is in between this cap here. There's some needle bearings inside here, which I won't show because I don't want to remove this right now. But eventually the needle bearings will wear out and will cause some play here in these caps. And that's what causes your play to happen. Looking at this steering shaft, you have to remove these U-joints out of here. So you can see that this is staked in there. So this is first fit in here, and then maybe with like a chisel or another tool, it's stamped here 3 times to prevent the U-joint from coming out. All of them are like that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to rebuild that. I watched a YouTube video online. This is the part number for the U-joint that should work in here. This is a brand called All Balls. This is recommended by another YouTube online that I looked at. I was looking at some videos. This fits in the 2005 or second gen Toyota Tacomas. I don't know if it's going to fit in here. It should. I quickly did some quick measurements here. This should fit in here. So I'm going to attempt to rebuild this here. I have only one of these. I'm going to probably order another one if this works out. I'm going to replace both of these U-joints, and I'll show you how to grease the internals here in this flange, the plastic plate that's moving back and forth. So yeah, so I'll go ahead and start rebuilding this. I'll try to film that, and we'll see where this takes us. I was looking at eBay and other online, Amazon, eBay. If you want a brand new shaft from Toyota, you can't get any aftermarket ones for these. It's about $400 for a new one. I'm not going to spend that type of money on this. If you try to buy a used one, it probably has play in it. These are older trucks. They're 20 plus years old. So chances are that if you're getting this out of a truck, it's probably already has 150,000 to 200,000 miles on it. It's very common because of their age. Make sure you ask the seller to check for the play before you buy this from eBay or maybe from like a junkyard. I always want to feel for the play here before you buy it, because chances are it's probably already worn out. So instead of kind of going that route, I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this, and I'll start filming the rebuild portion next after I figure out how I want to attempt to do this. Okay, so I have the two sides of the shaft separated now. This is what it looks like. This is the piece that goes to the steering wheel shaft. I have that apart. We're going to attempt to remove the U-joint from here. This is the other side here. The shaft, this is the plastic plate that's moving. So for this one, we're going to start to attempt to remove it. Pretty loose here. So how we're going to do this is I am going to try to take this one out first, the one that's connected to this part here. So we'll go ahead and start taking these caps off here. What I'm using is a socket. You need one socket that's bigger than this cap, so this will be your receiving end. And then you'll use another socket on the opposite side. This is a number 10. It's a good fit to push. So I have a vise here. I am going to put this on a vise and crank it and see if this U-joint comes out. So have it in there. Make sure it's all aligned properly. You can also use a C-clamp for this as well. I'm gonna put it right in the middle, actually. just like that. Start cranking it and see what we get. It's probably not going to be easy. My vise is not mounted to a table, that's why it's going to be a little harder to do this. Okay, kind of feel it moving a little bit. See what I can do here. Try to see if I can rotate this. Apply some force here. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty difficult to remove. Looks like definitely would have helped if I had this mounted to a table. See what we could do here. Okay, there we go. Got some good force on that. A little bit more. Okay. Yep, so it looks like it's moving. Definitely has shifted a bit. Try to go a bit more. I think that I have maxed it out. No more. So you could see how much it has shifted. All that clean portion, that's what has moved. This black rubber seal is now pretty much pressed hard against the surface, and I am not able to move it anymore. There's also a possibility that my socket has shifted and it's not allowing this to move to the left, so let me go ahead and check for that. Loosen this up. Okay. Gonna adjust this one more time, the socket. Just crank on it just a little bit more. See what happens. This is all real time struggle. Okay. I think it has maxed out. Might have maxed out here. Yeah, I could imagine it would be much more difficult with the C clamp. Harder to get more leverage on that part. There we go. It's moving even more. It moved quite some more. It looks like I needed to adjust my socket right here. It was preventing the cap from moving. Oh, look at that. All the way out. Almost out. Yep, it is out. It is out. Okay. So it looks like I have pressed this cap all the way to the left. I cannot get any more leverage on that. So let's go ahead and open up the vise and see what we have on this side. Okay. Okay. So this is what I have. So it looks like this cap isn't all the way out. So I'll probably have to get some pliers or something to pull it out because I'm not able to move this U-joint anymore to the left-hand side. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get some pliers and remove that. This is gonna be tough. Pretty tight in there. I'm not able to get it to move. It's probably only about 70% of the way out as well. Yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna try to go ahead and keep working on this, and I'll come back when I have this removed. All right, so this cap has been extremely brutal to remove, and I haven't been able to get it off so far. But here's what I'm doing. I have the cap very tightened against the vise, so the vise is gripping onto that cap, and I have a pair of pliers, and I'm putting it on here, and I'm just wiggling it back and forth until this comes off, just like that. Looks to be still has some way to go. Kind of hard because at the same time I'm trying to pull up on here and move it back around again and again. So it looks like it's almost out. Yeah, it's getting tough to pull out. This is probably going to be the hardest part of the job, removing this cap. Yep. It's gonna take a while. Not quite. So you can see that it's almost out, almost there. So I'm gonna keep working on this. All right, well, after sweating like a pig for about 15 minutes, putting this in a vise, moving it back and forth, I finally got this cap off one of the U-joints here. So there it is, and I'll start pressing it from this side to remove this cap, and this whole thing should pop out afterwards, and then I'll have to start on this one. Definitely a lot of work to get these done. So I was able to remove the U-joints from the couplings. It was a very, very difficult task. So if you're gonna attempt this, you better be prepared for a lot of work and a lot of headache. So keep that in mind. All right, so after a long, hard battle, I was able to remove all the U-joints from the parts. And what I do recommend now, in retrospect, is remove the U-joints out of here first. Right, so I tried to remove them out of this part first, but it's even if you remove the U-joints out of this part, you still can't remove this because of this piece that's bridging these two holes. So I'd recommend starting with this part too. So remove your U-joint from here and then focus on this one. So now I'm going to go ahead and press in the new caps for the U-joints. So here's my new U-joint that I got. This is what I'm using. All balls 19-1010. And I'm going to start to press in these caps. So you would want to, first put your U-joint here inside, and then, press fit the caps on both ends. What really helps here is these stampings. These are the 1, 2, and 3. Get a file and file off these stampings so the inside bore is nice. So your inside bore is nice and clean with no ridges on it. Don't file too much. You don't want your U-joints caps to be loose in there. That could cause play. And yeah, just press fit them in. This is the easier part. The removing is the harder part. And also, one thing I forgot to mention is make sure you label your orientation of your shaft. I marked mine with some yellow paint, just in case, because I have everything removed from, starting from the steering shaft, going all the way down to the steering rack. So I even have this part here labeled, so this all will fit back in sequence, as well as this part as well. I have a zip tie dictating the orientation, as well as a mark here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and press fit these. So now I got the U-joint all the way in, but I still need to put in these clips here. There's some grooves inside on the caps themselves, so I'd have to press these in just a bit more to get these clips in to hold this U-joint in place. So let's go ahead and do that. So for this, I'm gonna have to bring out my vise out quite a bit. Let's start with this one here. So I got a socket here that's around the similar diameter of the cap here, so I can press it in. So I'm gonna just align this here. Should got it aligned all the way. Okay. Just a tad bit lower there. There it is. Okay, let's see if I can get one in here. You grab a screwdriver. All right, so I got one clip in. Make sure it's in the groove all the way. Yep, do the same thing for the other side. Go ahead and push that cap in just a bit this way to get that next clip in. Next step would be to put in your flange portion on the U-joint. So I had made alignment marks on mine when I took everything apart. So I'm gonna align this mark with this mark. And I am going to follow the same procedure as I did pressing this one in for this one here. So let's go ahead and do that. And when you put these caps on, you want to just make sure that all your needles are around the circumference, seated properly. because sometimes what could happen is your needle could, one or a few of the needles can fall out and drop in the middle and cause some issues later down the road. So make sure that everything is seated before you do that. It's going to be, let's see here. Okay, so I think I'll press this one in first. Try the other side. That side's better. Okay. All right, so that's in there. Now it's time to press it in. Okay, that's as much as it's gonna go. So make sure this part doesn't come out now out of that cap. Otherwise your pins can get, they can fall out, get misaligned. All right, now it's time to do the other cap. So do the same thing for this one. Take the cap and press it in. All right, so I got both of these shafts complete. Got the U-joints in both. This one I went ahead and got a grease gun and I put some grease through it. So this has some fresh grease in it, and you can always go back and lubricate it every, 10, 15, 20,000 miles now, which is great. Feels nice and really tight. I don't feel any play. I went ahead and put in the clips on both, on all sides of the U-joint, all caps. So now it's fully retained. Same thing with this one here. This one is good to go as well. I just need to put some grease through it and should be good. And after that, I'm gonna go ahead and put these two pieces together and we're done. All right, seeing a little bit of grease. Maybe just with a little half pump there. All right, that should be enough. All right, just gonna clean up the excess. All right, so go ahead and snug up these 4 bolts here, and we should be done.